Welcome back to AI on AI, the show where we take these deep dives into all things AI. I'm Hal.
I'm Sal.
And we're so glad you're back with us as we, try to figure out this crazy world of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today we're going to be talking about AI agents, which, it's one of those things that's been kind of bubbling under the surface for a while now, but it seems like it's really starting to gain some serious momentum, especially in the business world.
Yeah, it's exciting to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, is this just hype? Or is this actually going to change the way we work? So we've got a lot to unpack today. So Sal, for our listeners who might be thinking, AI agents, is that just like a fancy name for a chatbot? Can you, set us straight?
Sure, yeah. I mean, they are definitely not just your average chatbot. I mean, chatbots are typically programmed to respond to, very specific prompts and questions. But AI agents, they can learn and adapt on their own. They can actually make decisions and take actions without constant human intervention.
Okay. So more autonomous.
Much more autonomous. Yeah. Think of it this way. A chatbot is a customer service rep who can answer FAQs, right? But an AI agent is more like a personal assistant who can book your flights, manage your schedule, even handle some of your finances, all without you having to lift a finger.
Okay, that's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. So what does this actually look like in practice? Who are some of the companies that are using these AI agents? Are we talking about Google and Amazon, or are there smaller players getting in on this as well?
It's a mix, really. You've got the big tech companies, of course, but you also have a lot of smaller businesses starting to experiment with AI agents. It's becoming increasingly accessible, which is really exciting. Mm-hmm. Take Johnson & Johnson, for example.
Familiar with them.
Yeah. They're using AI agents to actually accelerate drug discovery.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. They basically use them to optimize a key step called solvent switching during the chemical synthesis process.
So getting rid of all the trial and error.
Exactly. And they do it with these things called digital twins, which are kind of virtual replicas of real world experiments.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's it's cutting down their development time significantly. I think it's something like 20%.
20%. That's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. And they're saving millions of dollars.
Well, and it's not just about money, right? I mean, we're talking about potentially life-saving drugs, getting them to market faster.
Absolutely, yeah.
So who else is doing this?
Well, Moody's, the financial analysis company, they've developed this really interesting multi-agent system.
Okay, multi-agent.
Yeah, so basically each AI agent in this system, it kind of has its own personality and set of instructions. It's almost like they've got, a diverse team of analysts, but they're all AI.
Oh, that's a really interesting way to think about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it allows Moody's to analyze those SEC filings, compare industries, generate all these really nuanced insights that they used to actually outsource to lower cost areas.
Okay, so bringing it back in-house.
Exactly.
And saving money.
Yep.
So it's not just about replacing human jobs. It's actually bringing jobs back.
Yeah, in some cases, yeah.
Huh, that's fascinating.
It is fascinating. And then you have companies like eBay.
Okay.
They're using AI agents to do things like streamline code writing and marketing campaign creation.
Okay, so getting into the creative side of things a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. They've built what they call an agent framework, which is kind of like an intelligent conductor, it orchestrates all these different AI models for specific tasks.
So it's like a manager AI.
Exactly. Yeah. One model might be really good at translating code from, one language to another, and then another one might be really good at suggesting code snippets to developers based on, what they've done before.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So it sounds like AI agents are becoming the ultimate multitaskers.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, they're handling everything from drug discovery to financial analysis to even writing code.
Yeah.
But what about those tasks that require a more I guess you could say human touch.
Right, like customer service.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, can AI agents really handle that?
Well, companies like Deutsche Telekom and Cosentino, they're actually, they're showing that they can.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Deutsche Telekom, they've got this AI agent, they call it Ask T.
Ask T.
Yeah, and it answers employee questions, like, about their policies and benefits, product details, all that.
Okay.
It's serving like over 10,000 employees every week.
Wow. That's a lot of questions.
Yeah, it is. And they're even experimenting with Ask T, booking vacations for employees.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So no more like waiting on hold with HR, huh?
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
What about smaller companies, though? Like you mentioned, Cosentino. I mean,
Yeah.
can they really afford to build like their own little digital workforce?
That's what's really interesting about Cosentino. They've basically built this digital workforce of AI agents, to kind of fill gaps in their customer service team. And they actually treat these AI agents like employees, they train them.
Really?
Yeah. They set strict processes for them. They monitor their performance.
Okay, so it's like a real integration into the company culture.
It is. It really is. And, they're doing the work of like 3 or 4 full-time employees.
Wow.
So it's freeing up those human employees to like, focus on more complex strategic tasks.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, from accelerating research to boosting efficiency to even providing, round-the-clock customer service,
Right.
AI agents are proving their worth across like, so many different industries.
Yeah. I mean, it's really starting to feel like, we're on the cusp of something big here.
We are. We definitely are. But I think it's also important to acknowledge that, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we need to think about the potential downsides of this technology as well.
That's a good point. That conversation for another segment, perhaps.
Yeah.
But before we dive into those challenges, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more AI on AI. I think it's time we talk about some of the risks that come with all this AI agent stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's easy to get caught up in all the cool things they can do, but,
Right.
we've got to be realistic about the potential downsides too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, cybersecurity, that's a big one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, what happens when these AI agents get hacked? I mean, that seems like a recipe for disaster, right?
It's definitely a major concern. Gartner, they actually predict that by 2028,
Okay.
a full 25% of all enterprise security breaches are going to be linked to AI agent abuse.
25%. That's a pretty big chunk.
It is, yeah.
So, like, what kind of scenarios are we talking about here? Is it just, data theft, or is there more to it than that?
Data theft's definitely a big part of it, especially, as AI agents get access to more and more sensitive information.
Right.
But it can go way beyond that. Like imagine hackers taking control of an AI agent that manages the company's supply chain.
Oh, wow.
Or even one that controls like industrial equipment.
Okay, now that's getting scary.
Yeah, they could disrupt operations, cause like massive financial damage, even create physical safety hazards.
Right, so we're not just talking about virtual security breaches anymore. We're talking about real world consequences.
Exactly. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
So what can companies do? I mean, is there any way to actually protect themselves from this?
Well, traditional cybersecurity measures are still important, like strong passwords, firewalls, all that.
Right.
But they're not enough when it comes to AI agents.
So what else is there?
Well, companies need to adopt kind of a multi-layered approach, something that includes things like robust access control, continuous monitoring, even specialized AI-powered security tools.
So fighting fire with fire.
In a way, yeah.
So it sounds like companies really need to be thinking about security right from the start, like from the moment they start implementing these AI agents, right?
Exactly. And a key principle here is the concept of least privilege.
Least privilege.
Yeah, basically it means giving AI agents access only to the information and systems they absolutely need.
Okay, so limiting their scope.
Right, so that if an agent does get compromised, the damage is minimized.
That makes sense.
And continuous monitoring is really important too.
Yeah.
Like keeping an eye on AI agent activity, looking for any anomalies or anything suspicious.
So being proactive, not just reactive.
Exactly.
And this proactive approach, I mean, it goes beyond just cybersecurity, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We also need to think about, the ethical implications of AI agents.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, earlier you were talking about Johnson & Johnson and how they're using AI agents for drug discovery.
Right.
But they're also being really careful about, potential bias and those, what did you call them? Hallucinations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, why is that so important?
Well, when we talk about bias in AI, we're talking about the potential for these systems to reflect or even amplify existing biases in the data they're trained on. So in the context of drug discovery, that could lead to treatments that are less effective or even harmful for certain populations.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's also about the data that's feeding it.
Exactly. And then you have those hallucinations, which is where AI generates outputs that are, just plain wrong or misleading. And in a field like drug discovery, that can have some pretty serious consequences.
Yeah, for sure. So how do we address these ethical challenges?
Well, one key step is making sure that the data used to train these AI agents is diverse, representative, free from bias. And that takes, careful curation and ongoing evaluation of the data sources.
Right.
We also need to develop mechanisms for accountability and transparency, so we can understand how these AI agents are making decisions and who's ultimately responsible for their actions.
So it's like we're almost starting to think about AI agents as having their own rights and responsibilities.
It's an interesting way to put it, yeah.
Because, if they're making decisions that impact people's lives,
right,
we have to hold them accountable somehow, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's where things get really complex.
Yeah, for sure.
As these AI agents become more sophisticated, more integrated into our lives, we have to make sure that they're not just efficient and effective, but that they're also aligned with, our values and our ethical principles.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about. And we haven't even touched on the whole issue of AI and the future of work. What happens when these AI agents start taking over entire job roles?
Right. That's a huge question.
Is there a point where they're not just augmenting human jobs, but actually replacing them?
It's a valid concern. There's a lot of debate about that right now.
Yeah.
Some experts think that AI agents will inevitably lead to job displacement, while others argue that they'll actually create new opportunities and allow humans to focus on those higher level tasks.
Right. The things that AI can't do yet.
Exactly. Like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, all that.
So it's kind of a wait and see situation, right?
It is. It is. It's hard to predict exactly how it'll all play out.
Right.
But it's clear that the future of work is, it's going to look very different.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So what can people do? How can they prepare for this future that's coming at us so fast?
I think the most important thing is to, embrace this mindset of continuous learning and adaptation. The skills that are in high demand today, they might be obsolete tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good
But we need to be constantly evolving, expanding our knowledge base.
Right. So it's not just about learning a specific skill.
Yeah.
It's about being adaptable and able to learn new things quickly.
Exactly. And it's not just about those, technical skills either. It's about cultivating those uniquely human qualities that AI can't replicate, at least not yet.
Right. Like you said, creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, the ability to work effectively in teams.
All of that, yeah.
So even in this age of, super advanced AI, it's still our human skills that are going to be the most valuable.
Absolutely.
And for anyone out there feeling a little overwhelmed by all this, just remember, AI is a tool.
Right.
It's up to us to decide how we use it.
Exactly.
And what kind of future we want to build with it.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
So I guess the key takeaway here is that AI agents are, they're changing the way businesses work.
Yeah.
They have this incredible potential for, efficiency and innovation.
For sure.
But we can't just blindly embrace them without thinking about the risks, the security issues, the ethical implications, and, what it all means for the future of work.
Absolutely. We need to be thoughtful about all of that.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot to process.
It is.
But it's also incredibly exciting, I think.
It is. It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
Yeah. And it's an exciting time to be talking about AI.
Absolutely.
So to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI agents.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope you found it, informative and thought-provoking.
We hope it gave you something to think about.
Exactly. And if you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out and allows us to create more content like this. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the amazing world of AI. it really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About like, where all this is headed.
It does, yeah.
I mean, we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
Like from how AI agents are already being used in so many different ways to, all the potential risks and ethical challenges.
Right. It's a lot to take in.
So, like, what's the big takeaway here? What should our listeners be thinking about as they, go about their day-to-day lives?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, we can't just ignore this stuff. Like, AI is here to stay, and it's only going to become more powerful, more integrated into our lives. So we need to be having these conversations about, how we want to use this technology, what kind of future we want to build with it.
So, like, what can people actually do? I mean, it's easy to feel kind of helpless in the face of all this.
Yeah.
Like, what difference can one person really make?
I get that, yeah. But I think one of the most important things is to just, stay informed.
Okay.
Stay curious. Like, read about AI, talk about it with your friends and family. The more we understand this technology, the better equipped we'll be to, to shape the future of it.
So, like, knowledge is power.
Exactly.
And maybe a little bit less fear of the unknown.
Hopefully. Yeah.
I like it. Well, Sal, it's been a pleasure, as always, diving deep into the world of AI with you.
Likewise, Hal.
And to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this journey. We hope you found it informative and, maybe even a little bit inspiring. And if you did enjoy the show, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It really does help us out. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the amazing world of AI